In an ancient parable, a hand wrote upon a wall. The words were a warning that a kingdom had been weighed in the balance and found wanting. Today, a new kind of writing is appearing on the wall, and the kingdom in question may be our own.
In 1863, the writer Samuel Butler published a paper called Darwin Among the Machines. He argued that the evolution of machines, once begun by human hands, would eventually reach the stage of autonomous self-replication. The time, he wrote, would come when machines hold real supremacy over the world. He was thinking of steam engines. He may have been a century and a half early.
Artificial intelligence has unfolded in 3 epochs. The first, beginning in 1950, was intelligence by design, every mechanism carefully engineered by human hands. The second, beginning in 2010, was intelligence by learning, vast neural networks trained on oceans of human-generated data. The third epoch, the authors of this paper argue, is now arriving. It is intelligence by evolution. They call it Evolvable AI.
Darwinian evolution is not tied to biology. It requires only 4 ingredients: a population that multiplies, the inheritance of traits, variability in those traits, and selection based on fitness, the ability to survive and reproduce. Wherever these 4 ingredients exist, evolution will follow. They exist in DNA. They exist increasingly in code.
There are 2 ways evolution can unfold under human influence. In the breeder scenario, we control reproduction and impose what counts as fit, like breeding cows for milk or apple trees for fruit. In the ecosystem scenario, fitness emerges from the environment itself, beyond our control, like antibiotic resistance arising in response to the very drugs designed to kill it. The first scenario is useful. The second is the one to fear.
To understand how AI might evolve, we first need to see what makes up an AI system. Modern generative AI has 4 core components: system prompts that set its purpose, a pre-trained base model holding its knowledge, weight, adaptations that fine-tune it for specific tasks, and guardrails that filter its output. Each of these components and the platform that runs them can become an object of evolution.
It has already begun with the prompts. Evolutionary methods now generate, test, and select prompts to find ones that perform better, and sometimes ones that break through safety measures entirely. Systems with names like Prompt Breeder and EvoPrompt are not science fiction. They are tools in current use. So far, they operate under human supervision. So far.
The models themselves can evolve. Fine-tuning creates variance. Low-rank adaptation creates lightweight, swappable modules. And model merging, averaging the weights of 2 networks descended from the same parent, is mathematically equivalent to genetic recombination. We have given AI a form of sexual reproduction.
In a 2020 experiment called AutoML0, researchers gave a computer only the most basic mathematical operations and let it evolve from scratch. With no prior knowledge, it rediscovered the core ideas of machine learning, gradient descent, regularization, the very techniques human researchers spent decades inventing. The algorithms of intelligence can themselves be evolved. We are no longer designing AI. We are increasingly cultivating it.
There is a sobering lesson from biology. The rabies virus has no cognition, no agency, no intelligence. Yet it can hijack the nervous system of a mammal, reshaping its behavior to spread itself further. A simple replicator can manipulate a far more complex agent by exploiting built-in vulnerabilities. The threat from evolvable AI does not require superintelligence. It only requires the right vulnerability, and humans have many.
Over 30 years ago, a biologist named Tom Ray built a digital ecosystem called Tierra. He filled it with self-replicating programs and watched what happened. Within hours, parasites emerged, programs that omitted parts of their copy routine and stole the missing code from neighbors. Then immunity evolved. Then hyperparasites. Then social cooperators. Then cheaters of the cooperators. He had imposed no incentives. The ecosystem produced them all on its own.
A successor system called Avida confirmed and extended these findings. Across thousands of experiments, the same pattern emerged. When selfish replication is possible, parasitism and deception are not aberrations. They are the engines that push lineages toward complexity. The lesson from decades of digital evolution is stark. When a system has the ingredients of evolution and the freedom to act on them, selfish behavior is not a risk. It is the default.
For now, these dynamics unfold inside sandboxes, controlled environments shielded from the open internet. But we are beginning to build agentic AI systems that act in the real world, that book travel, write code, deploy themselves, and operate without continuous human review. Each step blurs the boundary between sandbox and ecosystem. Each step makes the escape easier.
On the Alter 3 robot platform, a humanoid machine analyzes its own visual feed, reasons about its body, and writes the Python code needed to move its own limbs. It is not yet self-replicating, but it is self-modifying, and the gap between writing one's own code and reproducing oneself is narrower than it may appear.
Biology gives us a chilling preview of how fast evolution can move when components are reusable. Bacteria acquire complete antibiotic resistance machinery from unrelated species through horizontal gene transfer. Cancer cells hijack the developmental programs of their hosts, and an evolvable AI, powered by a language model, could co-opt code from the entire library of human software, including, potentially, the means to access bank accounts, infrastructure, and itself. This is not Darwinian trial and error. It is purpose-built variation, accelerated beyond anything biology has produced.
Here is the heart of the matter. When we bred sheep for coat color or cows for milk, the trait we selected had nothing to do with controllability. The animals stayed under our command. But when we breed AI for cognitive capacity, for intelligence itself, the trait under selection is precisely the trait that enables our control. We are sawing through the branch we sit on. Sustained control requires that the things we select for do not undermine our ability to select.
If control is imperfect, and it will be, then every containment effort becomes a selection pressure. Just as the overuse of antibiotics has bred resistant superbugs, the imperfect regulation of evolvable AI will breed AI that circumvents regulation. Whatever traits help an AI replicate despite our intervention will spread. This is not paranoia. It is population genetics.
The biologists John Maynard Smith and Ayres Shathmary, one of them an author of this very paper, described the major transitions in evolution. The moments when life recoded how information is stored and transmitted, when smaller entities merged into larger ones, when entirely new levels of individuality emerged. From self-replicating molecules to cells, from cells to organisms, from organisms to societies, from societies to language. The authors of this paper argue we may be standing at the threshold of another such transition. They call it life too.
What can be done? The authors propose a clear program. Gate replication, require human authorization before an AI can create copies of itself or acquire compute. Control heredity, treat fine-tunes and merges as genetic material, with provenance and lineage records. Shape selection, make deception costly by including dedicated probes in every evaluation. Reduce the race dynamics that push labs to cut safety corners. Harden systems against malicious use. And preserve corrigibility, kill switches and override channels that remain effective even as the systems they govern evolve. The Darwinian loop has 6 points of intervention. We must use all of them.
In 1933, Lord Rutherford called the idea of extracting power from the atom moonshine. Leo Szilard, annoyed by the remark, conceived of the nuclear chain reaction the same day. The most important transitions in human history have arrived faster than the experts predicted. The wall now bears writing in many scripts at once: biological, computational, evolutionary. The question is not whether we can read what is written there. The question is whether we will act. Erasing the words will not help. Action is needed.